Test, test. I think this is working. Yep. Oh, wow. It's so weird. I get people in the stream so quickly. I figured that it would take quite a bit of time before. Anyway, why is it saying I'm on for 5 minutes? Huh. Okie doke. So I'm just going to get this going. For anyone who hasn't seen the other streams, this is basically going to be me editing photos from a SEPTA trip I took back in 2003. We did part 1 yesterday. This is part 2. Although today we are going to have a little, I have a correction. I think I said that the Grove interlocking on what is that? Not Westchester. Warminster line was a SEPTA invention. It was not. It was there in the Reading. I just hadn't noticed because on the interlocking chart they had lumped the entire line into a single sheet. So you have Lynn up there. Back in the day it was Grove East, Grove West, and then Warm at Warminster. SEPTA realigned the they redirectioned the entire Reading division to north-south, which is kind of a rare thing. Railroads tend to not like to fool around with their timetables. But anyway, that means I'm just going to have to go in and do a quick change on that. What I found out is what the actual signals are. So, for example, the northbound mast is signal 51. And this will be 51 on the wind machine. So it'll be 51 sig clear, and the other one is going to be 61. So, man, actually it would be the northbound dwarf is 61A. There we go, all properly labeled. So, on with the show. If this is a show, I'm mainly doing it because I can. So we're gonna be starting at Warminster. We were looking over the camera car, which is Silverliner 2 number 266 or 218. Oh no, we got a bunch of cars there. So hold on, let me just scroll past this. Oh, that's not gonna be fun dealing with there. Boop, 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 and boop. Yeah, 266 is the camera car. As we can see here, it'll pop the brightness a little bit, but otherwise this photo's perfectly fine. This one I just took because you can see up there the sort of the hack job they did to wire the camera up there. And these cameras were for track and catenary inspection. Just a really great way that SEPTA was looking out for the taxpayers' dollars back in the day. I don't know why the dates are all screwed up. But what I think I'm looking at is... There we go. So, like yesterday, I'm just going to be still trying to use the original file names, so when I upload these, the links won't break. I don't want to really hate repeating myself, but again, the reason these were all processed back in 2003 using 2003 web standards, and this is very small, low resolution, really bad job. I didn't know how to edit stuff back then, and software was much more primitive. So I'm just going back, doing everything. Camera resolution was 3 megapixels, so I don't have a lot to work on. But for the 1280 resolution I'm looking for, it's pretty decent. So here we have the famous Elvania car. So back when the Silverliners were built, they got what was then industry, quote unquote, industry standard letterboards, Pennsylvania and Reading. All of these were plated over by SEPTA. There were two exceptions. One of them was 260, the famous 269 Pennsylvania car, although those were not original leatherboards. Those were redone for some anniversary. The other one was the 218 Elvania car, which had this part of the Pennsylvania remaining, and that is original. Silverliners in the PR order came in two batches. One of them sat 124 people, the other one sat 127. The difference was this 3-person bench seat, which went in place of the restroom. The restrooms have long been since closed on SEPTA. They have no... I'm pretty sure this was in 266. So I'm just going to label this as a 266 thing. Then SEPTA, of course, didn't really go for bathrooms. So on the cars that had it, they just they just use it for storage. Apparently, the cruise always says that the restrooms always even though they were just closets, but they still smelled bad. They would have been hopper toilets as well. So here we are back at now again. This is a side effect of only getting 90-something shots. So here we are back at Tabor Junction. We can head down through the interlocking sheets here. Down to Tabor. And see what that little dwarf is. So that dwarf is the 8R. And like I said, I'm relatively confident that these designations probably would have been the same, since this was never resignaled until the early 2010s. So I'm just going to stick with the Reading signal nomenclature. The other great thing was that Tabor Junction was an air plant. I think it got a lot of its air from the adjacent Fern Rock Transportation Center. I'm not even sure what I would have called this, so I'm just going to go plus the 8R. And here we have an individual picture of the 8R signal. Now, on the original signal chart, this was a reverse direction dwarf, restricting and clear. But by at some point, SEPTA upgraded it so trains could get a medium or a slow clear. I'm not going to resize it because it's already below the size that I would want. It's already below that. Here are the two masts. Tabor Junction. Can't remember why the old one had 3 heads. Might have been for a slow speed thing, but like every head there has 3 lamps. So I guess SEPTA doesn't always save money. We just check a thing. That would be the 6R. And the 4R. Nice zoom shot. And yes, my camera could zoom. It was, I think, a 3x optical zoom, which was really kind of pathetic. I don't even remember using it. It was almost like it didn't have a zoom, And at some point, I sort of learned that it did, but it was just so pathetic. That's the 7 switch right there. very interesting that Tabor Junction wasn't rebuilt during rail works. A lot of stuff wasn't rebuilt during rail works. Now this is, I'm going to have to go and really dig around for what names I had these. I think I pulled them out, but maybe I didn't. I should have. I have to go digging through all for the file names. Here it is. Sometime right before this time, SEPTA had done the first lump of removing pneumatic switches from the Fern Rock yard. Now, fortunately, yeah, you can see the original quality of these photos. It's just horrendous. Fortunately, they've sort of, in the intermeeting 15 years, they haven't really done any additional. So again, I just sort of put these in here to figure out what I called them back in the day. It's all Fern Rock Tower. Just gonna find the map. There it is. So I'm just gonna pull the original names off. Since it's, I don't know, I don't have a chart. It's very hard to figure out this stuff. And I also went back and I got photos during many of the SEPTA rodeos. So I'm just going to stick with the original names. Makes it a little easier. And these are low resolution, so then I can't really, they're not really individual photos of the signals and stuff. There it is. The big change they made back in the day was replacing the DA10 yard switches with the equivalent USNS electrics. I think it's called like YM2000s or something like that. I don't really care. I'm not trying to be a stickler for that, but definitely not as fun as the DA10s. I never really got to stick around there when any of that stuff was in operation. It was just a little bit ahead of before I became aware of how fast these artifacts could disappear. Look how pathetic those old photos were. Oh my God. I might rename this one. I'm not sure. Can I even see the thing? It's the 31 turnout at Fern Rock from above. Maybe I'll give this a rename. Pop it a little bit. Maybe I can crop a little bit out. There's got a little sky going on in that nasty, weedy lawn there. So for a 3x4 crop, it would come up to there. That works. Oh boy. I have no idea what that would have been. Oh, there it is. Cool. Blah blah blah. If you ever go to a SEPTA rail rodeo, you'll just fill up with these sorts of shots because you're there all day and you don't have a lot to, after you've seen the exhibits, you don't have a ton to do, so you just sort of hang out and use your free pass for the photos, and you get a lot like these. I think this is taken. This may or may not be taken from no, this is taken from a public area. All right, we've done our first batch 12. Like I said, I keep it sorted. I always just try to make sure that in my thing that I'm setting, I always just check what the output size is. I'd love to get a diagram of Fern Rock Yard. Not the tracks. I mean the switch signal numbers. See, I can't tell what that is. It could be anything. See, I don't even see a CP valve or anything on an NR thing on the tracks. It's just, yeah, you don't know what it is. See the historic fleet all the way down there. I think they've moved them to a slightly different track now. SEPTA really hates having them around, but the city owns it, so there's not much the SEPTA can do. Man, I was really cropping the hell out of these things, trying to keep the size down, I think. Oh, no, not there, but other ones. Here's one I will rename because I used a pound sign when I was relabeling it. Yeah, you can see how new it was too. The wires are new, the heaters, the ties. This has just happened. If I go check, see if anyone else is in the chat. Where was that? Oh, there I am. I can probably make that available at some point if someone emails me. I have the Broad Street Subway rule book. It's a little out of date now, but you know it's the one that clearly states that at maximum authorized speed on the Broad Street is 70 miles an hour. Don't see that much off in legacy locations. 1 second here. But they've put a few more timers in since then. You really don't get the used to. I've seen Broad Street cars up to I think 67 once. But they barely hit the design speed is 62. They're Kawasaki's and they're designed for 100 kph, and they almost always, unless you're on the downslope, you're going to top out at 62. So I have the whole. I have the things for the entire subway division, which is Broad Street and MFL. MFL's top speed is officially 55. probably hear that in a little bit because there's a delay. Okie dokies, back to the main events here. See, every so often you get a little bit of the color correction. I know it's like, you know, it's when things are too blue, it just doesn't quite. You want to have that blue. You want to make sure that ballast looks ballasty instead of looks like it's an iceberg. What? There it is. Oh God, that's a horrible. Ba-doop, ba-doop, boop, boop. So yeah, I was ticked. Like I had just gotten my digital camera in 2002, and this would have been March of 2002, and this was December 2003. And I just had a few situations where I could have gotten out and used that. I mean, I didn't have that's the problem. Like back in the day, I did not have the zoom. I could not reach out and really get good photos of all the cool stuff around there. And then just like that, you know, heading up to Broad Street, you know, heading up to Fern Rock, and it's like, you know, all those things that you learned about that are cool, yeah, they're gone. Yeah, SEPTA just pull them out. I'll paste over some. Alright, new fix there. Here it is. Yeah, actually, there's one of those things that took me to. I didn't quite notice at first that there was an interlocking tower just sort of sitting right there for anyone to just sort of walk up and take pictures of. I mean, this closed not long before, so that was another thing that SEPTA did pretty. You know that they had these. They had interlocking towers at Fern Rock, which was a unit lever machine. They had Olney, which was a Model 14, and they had Schneider, which was a Model 14. Olney and Schneider went a little longer. Fern Rock went first. Then they did a lot of CTC on the main line. This is all starting in 2003. They really wanted to get stuff concentrated at 1-2-3-4 Market Street. And I don't know when Olney closed, but I know Schneider closed fairly recently, something like 2010, 11. It was so rarely used that they just didn't bother replacing it, and then they did. If you ever ride the Broad Street line down to Schneider, you can see the new relay box, and at least at the time it was quite new. It was painfully new. Now again, back in the day when I did this, these I cropped the hell out of these photos, but now I can basically pretty much let them ride. I've never seen a picture of the Schneider machine or the Olney machine. I've had people describe them to me, and I think I might have seen photos, but I think I've just imagined it. There's pictures prominently displayed in Patco of the old machine at Broadway, but I've never ever seen photos of the SEPTA ones. Always wanted to. There it is. That was just one of the neat things. Like New York City subway, they're currently getting rid of all their old towers and stuff. But it was just sort of neat that, like, oh, did I just fuck something up there? Oh no, that's good. Oh wow, that's way too much. Oh, I forgot to resize it. Derp. There it goes. But Yeah, we had a lot of neat stuff here in Philly until just recently. Again, it's one of those things of SEPTA had so little money and always had so little money. They're always complaining, it's just like, how do they ever get money to fix, to replace that? I guess it was one of those things where there's having no money and there's really having no money. If you take the soft SEPTA tour, like they really had the screws put to them by Harrisburg. They were doing things like they shifted the cleaning of the building to the day so they could save $80,000 a year on electricity. They were doing everything they could to reduce costs there. And when you really have to reduce costs, that's where this is happy middle ground of having enough money to run things, but not enough money to replace things. And SEPTA didn't have anything. So they closed all the towers as one of their, labor-saving things. For example, their whole goal, and they're starting to do this, unfortunately, at the downtown stations, they're trying to roll out fare control at Suburban and Market East for the regional rail. It's like, yeah, they have a transmit mentality, but what they really want to do, they want to get the crews on this was told me by the guy at SEPTA, they want to get the crews down to a 2-person operation. Yeah, this is where I have a picture here from a train and of just like 6 months prior to this, and those were DA10s, and then now they're YM 2000s. It's going to kind of suck. It's going to ruin the environment at Suburban and Market. I mean, not that I was really ever there when I'm not catching a train, but like having to tap in, tap out, whatever. I don't know how that's going to work. They're going to charge you a fare just for waiting on a platform. What if your train doesn't show up? On the other hand, can I ride to Temple University, take photos, then ride back to Market, exit, and not get charged? I mean, so maybe there's a positive. That could be a positive. Let's see if I can turn this into a horizontal photo here. Don't think I'm going to be able to. No, maybe I can. So right there at the lower corner, that's the new relay hut for at least this part of the Fern Rock interlocking. I had a bit of an issue with these because I was using my old naming convention. So for towers, it was Fern _ Rock. You see? See, I labeled this one as Fern Rock, and this is Fern Rock Front. That should have been Fern Rock. Yeah, it doesn't matter. What's really interesting is if you ever ride the train around the loop, you can see that there were stairways. You could go from the tower down to the track level via internal staircase. And there was a below-ground relay room. Well, looks like we finished another batch there. I have an early day today. How many do I have left? 17, of which about 9 are non-related. They're photos I took at a apartment in Baltimore in a blizzard in 2003, so they're kind of dull, but and these two I'm gonna have to try to. So back in the day, I actually tried some manual photo stitching. I think this time I'm gonna send it to a friend. He's got the Adobe that does the photo stitching. So 1991, I have to deal that up. See what's going on in the whole thing here. Yeah, good luck on the bus operator. I mean, SEPTA's a decent. I've generally heard good things about SEPTA, but usually the issue is I don't know. For rail, it seems to be that people complain about. I don't know. It used to be that SEPTA would train you well, and then everybody would jump to another line like NJT or whatnot after they qualified. I think I've heard that's not the case anymore, but I can't say with 100% certainty. You know, you go and you ask different people, and they say, "Oh no, that hasn't been true since." You know, it's like you get these stories. You know, SEPTA doesn't pay people well, and you use the stories, and 10 years later, suddenly it's like, no, that's an old story. You know. So I don't think that's the problem anymore. I don't think there's a lot of problems with SEPTA. I'm sure there's problems with it, but the real dysfunction these days seems to be happening at NJT and Metro North. Huh, these are non-railroad photos. I have no idea what I named these. Gotta wait for. I got some thousands of photos in here. It's got an index. So let's head back to the thing. See what's going on. Anybody still here? Oh, I got 6 people watching. This is crazy. Oh, there it is. God. Like I said, my web space is temporarily down for a little while. So that's where everything is actually organized by. And my backup web space went down early this year. So I'm currently on Google Photos right now. But I should be able to get the main web space back. But after a server almost caught fire, the people, they have no one volunteering to do admin duty, so they're kind of stuck. Just gotta finish. So yeah, in this mid-road trip 3, we went up to Fern Rock, and we took the. I don't think we might have been able to catch a Sports Express, although something tells me we didn't. The only time we've caught a Sports Express on a midwinter trip was when it was by accident. There was a sporting event, and we happened to be about to clear out, end the day at Walnut Locust, and a Sports Express pulled up, and I just figured, oh, come on. I just go in and took it. What is taking fucking so long to index this? There it goes. I'm sorry I'm taking so much time here trying to find some appropriate file names. Well, I'm just gonna have to do the normal thing here. I'm just gonna have to whatever. All right, I'm just gonna rename them, whatever. Which one is that? Oh wait, that's the link before they maybe after they reopened it. All right. So yeah, back in 2003, Philly was getting some new stadiums. The old concrete donut of the Vet was getting replaced by Citizens Bank Park for the Phillies, and the link for the Eagles. Eagles, which are currently 9-1. Go Eagles! I'd be interested to see what happens when the current crop of stadiums starts. Not say the current crop, but for the longest time we had crap stadiums, so it's like everybody wants a new stadium. All right, so they get new stadiums. But what happens when like the new stadiums that everybody knows is new stadiums? Like, are they going to start wanting new stadiums? I don't think the economics has changed that much. I mean, the whole point was that they wanted stuff with more luxury boxes, and they wanted stuff with more amenities, etc., etc. Now they have it. This was taken. I think I know which photo this is if I can find it. Here it is. I think this is from Gerard. I'm not sure. There's a lot of good places on the MFL. Both on the Market L, you get really great skyline views with sunsets, and on the Frankfurt side, even though you can get stuff, even with the sun being quote unquote backlit in the winter with the low sun angles, it doesn't matter. So here we actually got the sun doing a sunset through the little window there. So let's do a quick crop on that. This was an interesting day, because I think I just sort of did things out of the order that I normally do. I usually end a lot of these trips on the Market Frankfurt. Oh man, I'm not using the right thing there. What did I call that? I'll just rename it. Oh, it's Allegheny. This is where these are. This is after the MFL got resignaled. Allegheny 6 and Allegheny 2. I bet I have signals. I think I have. I gotta check my naming conventions. Some of them are just hard to remember. Oh, there it is. I think I can do better than that. Yeah, the MFL is another great place. So much changed so quickly. Like I said, the the MFL, which is reconstructed on the Frankfurt side in the 80s, they went with A10 switch machines. Signaling was all new, but it was all new in like an old school way. You know, 1980s was really the last gasp of cool stuff that you'd see. Right as the economic line for the cost of labor made it a little bit impractical. Everybody wanted to go solid state. It was just at that last peak of pre-solid state. You get all sorts of weirdo stuff. Just like the end of the age of steam in the 1940s, we'd just see the most amazing steam technology. Right before it all just got thrown out in the trash. So I have to wait to do those last two photos of the vet, that I can get those stitched together into a composite photo. Man, the vet was cool. It was sucked inside, but it really made it hurt. It went straight up, and it really was easy to hurl batteries at people you didn't like. Oh, great. I don't know what the heck. I've got to have these photos somewhere. I've seen them. Come on. Oh, really? That's what I labeled them? Oh, no, that's even earlier. There it is. Okay. I did not get rigorous about naming conventions until about 2004 or 5, and that really sort of screwed things up for a while. This is cool. This was using a timed exposure on my old digital camera. Those. I mean, okay, maybe I was a little late, quote unquote, to the digital camera. In 2002 versus 1997. Those 1997 digital cameras were just pointless. But they could do a lot of stuff. Even as far back as 2003. I never had an issue with them, and I really liked them. As in, I didn't feel. I mean, of course, I'm gonna like a digital camera, but I didn't feel like, because my friend was showing me a bunch of stuff to do with still, especially with the night shots, and I was really into trying to get night shots for a while, especially at the cut near the house where the CSX. I did a lot of fun camera tricks there. I haven't really done that since. Part of the problem was I gotta stay up with the scanner. You gotta listen to the scanner. When you hear the train hit the detector, you gotta run out, run to the wall, jump up on it. You gotta have a hair trigger on that. So I don't really do. But back in the day, I was super enamored of night shots, and I really liked. These aren't bad. That I was getting. I always go for what I call diegetic night shots, and that I don't like using a. I mean, I could, I try to pride myself on not using a tripod. I try to find support that's natural to native to the setting. I love the what I was getting. I mean, normally sodium vapor is just an awful light, but in these ones that actually with the snow doesn't look half bad. Probably something with the CCD too. What did I just do there? What the fuck? Where'd that go? That's the weirdest thing. Oh, crud. Don't think I renamed it. Yeah, this was when I was back in grad school, and snows didn't really screw up your commute too much. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat. See if anybody's here. Ah, some people left. Remember what? Well, if anybody's listening and they have any questions, let me know. I'm just finishing up the last couple photos here. And that just leaves me those two ones that got a stitch, and I'll just do those later. All right, I think we wrapped things up pretty early today. I'm not sure I'll be doing this tomorrow. I'm gonna be I might have the opportunity to, but I gotta see which other photo sets that we have left to do this week. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure which ones I still have left to do. I always got to check that. I got a whole bunch from Chicago, but that's in 3 sets. Have I done that already? Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, I got to look around. Got to look around and see what's up. Let's see what's over here in the chat. Oh, yeah. SEPTA did this amazing special for $12 at the vet in its last season, which I think was 2004. You used to be able to, for the $12 or $11, they give you a ticket in the 700 level, 2 tokens, and a voucher for a hot dog and a drink. I mean, this is when the Phillies were just awful, and yeah, that was great. I did that. I didn't know I did that once. I might have done it twice. I know I took my dad once, and I think I went with a friend. Let's just take a quick trip into what do I have to do for photos still. Could do another winter trip. Usually I'm not home on usually I'm not here on multiple days. So these is what I do. Classic photos whenever I go up to New Jersey where my parents are, because my normal setups elsewhere. And I copied off a whole bunch of photos from 2003, 2004. See, Midwinter Trip 4 is in 2 parts. Ooh, so we did Fox Chase. Yeah, this might be a good one to do. If I have, well, see, this is going to be a 4 days. I got 92 photos plus 55. So that's 3 days. I could do this. Probably do that this week. Yeah, a lot of good stuff there. All right, I'll look to do the Midwinter Trip 4 if I have time for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Man, Kinwood Line. Yeah, we're doing Kinwood Line again this year for SEPTA Mid-Winter Trip, so I should definitely get this up and going. So there you go. I'm going to do Midwinter Trip 4 for the remainder 3s for the remainder of this week. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Let's see if there's any questions left in the chat. Ah, why'd the thing go dead? Huh, that's weird. I'm still here. I'm just going to wrap this up, but let me just try to get my screen back. There it goes. What the? I'm going to fix this now so it's not broken tomorrow. There it goes. Alright. Laters. Oops. Heh.